Welcome. This is Lunch Pail and the Professor, your political psychotherapy session. Viewer discretion advised. This is completely unscripted program.
Yep.
So, Lunch Pail, what would a show be without an update on Obamacare?
I don't know.
We never seem to get enough of Obamacare. But here's a couple of updates. And how long does it take for this to happen? Doctors are now refusing to take Obamacare patients.
That wasn't a surprise at all.
What did you think? What made you think that this was going to happen?
Well, a lot of doctors, the conservative doctors were talking about it when they even implemented the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want to listen. They want to do their own thing. They want their own selected doctors. Remember they had all the doctors with the white coats up there for photo op?
Well, it looks like what has happened, in addition to what you just said, it looks like what's happened is the Obamacare exchanges pay very little in terms of reimbursing doctors, number one. Number two, they have what's called a narrow network. In other words, there are very limited number of doctors and that they will allow people to go to, and for some exchanges there are restrictions on the top tier hospitals that treat more ill patients. You might have access to those.
Right.
Okay. So, but what's happening is that doctors are saying, look, what should be a commercial fee is now a fee that is very similar or equal to Medicare fees. Now, we know what's happened to Medicare doctors. They stopped taking patients because they couldn't make it on the fees that were being reimbursed. So what we have now is the possible emergence of two-tier care. One, those people who have their private insurance or maybe insurance through the workplace, and they can spend more money. Their policies are better. They're more inclusive. And so you get a better level of care. You get the Obamacare exchanges, and what's happening is you get a lower level of care because they pay so little.
Yeah.
The impact.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. It's exactly what people are saying.
Right?
You're going to get what you pay for.
That's right.
And so that's what we have. So this is what happens when you try to force people to take something that they didn't want in the first place.
Exactly.
Now, is it true that there are some people that have coverage that never had coverage? Yes.
Yes.
But now let's take a look at another part of this, and that is the Obamacare enrollment. Report comes out that enrollments are shrinking. Now, what does that mean? It means that people who signed up for Obamacare, number one, some of them never paid their premiums, so they dropped out.
Some of them changed their mind like I did.
Somebody changed their mind like you did.
Doctor saw what's going on.
And so you have what's called a churning. There are people who are dropping out, other people may be opting in because they became 26, they got kicked off their parents' insurance, so now you have this wave, this up and down wave. However, here's the interesting thing. The Obama administration, Health and Human Services, still can't tell us how many people have actually paid their premiums, because the back end of the website, you know, the part that says, hey, now pay us,
right,
they can't get that information correct.
They might have it, but they won't give it to you.
And they won't give it
They
to
won't
you.
give it to you, no way.
And the other thing that people need to be aware of when you hear all these numbers about enrollments and everything, a lot of these people who have enrolled were people who were previously had insurance,
Exactly.
but had it ripped away from them.
Right.
So now they're enrolling in Obamacare, and that's supposed to represent a new interest in Obamacare. When you hear somebody say, look at the interest, well, remember, if you yank somebody's health insurance away, they're going to have interest in trying to get insurance someplace else. It's a forced interest.
Right.
So that is something that we have to keep in mind. and something that I guess we'll continue to hear about as this information goes on and on and on. Now, just a couple of details on this. I'm looking at a report here on Aetna Insurance Company. Their enrollment dropped from 720,000 to 600,000. And so you had 120,000 people that dropped out. That's almost a 30% drop.
I'm glad I contributed to that. I had Aetna.
You had it?
Yeah.
And what contributed to it, did you say?
Well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I contributed to that. They were charging too much, and at the end, you get a $45 copay. On top of that, you still get, after the insurance go through, you still charge you $38 for something. And it goes on, and plus I have to pay so much. It's just ridiculous. It just doesn't go anywhere.
The estimate right now is that 85% of people actually paid. If we could actually find that out, but that's the estimate from insurance companies. Only 85% have paid, so 15% are not paying. If that's actually true, let's talk a little bit about New Jersey politics.
Yeah, good idea.
All right.
Shoot.
I came across a letter printed online in Politicker NJ by Murray Sabrin. Murray Sabrin, as you know, ran for governor in New Jersey a couple of times. Also ran in a primary for Senate.
Right.
He writes a very interesting column, and it goes to the question of, in New Jersey, and I would say maybe nationally, what the Republicans actually stand for. Now, when I say this, and I sound critical, I'll get attacked.
Right.
Well, what are you bashing Republicans? We're not bashing Republicans. We're trying to guide Republicans so that millions of Republicans don't stay home again.
Exactly. What happened last time?
Because it seems like Republicans have a penchant for driving away their base, right? Especially the conservative base. Now, Murray Sabrin writes an article here that the New Jersey State Committee, the New Jersey GOP, the state committee, has yet to actually develop and sign on to a platform.
Okay.
A platform tells you what we stand for. Now, the Republican National Committee, as late as 2012, developed a platform. They signed it. It was passed unanimously. And yet, New Jersey GOP has not signed on to that document.
Unbelievable.
So instead, so I guess the question is to ask, you go to see any Republican leadership people, ask them, why hasn't the NJGOP signed on or developed their own document of a platform? Here is, as reported in this article by Murray Sabrin, here is the paragraph that I guess is supposed to be a platform. And here's how it reads. The New Jersey Republican State Committee stands for a prosperous and safe New Jersey. We envision a New Jersey with a dynamic and flourishing economy where both businesses and workers thrive, strong and healthy families, and reformed, responsive, and ethical state and local governments that serve the people with effectiveness and efficiency while protecting individual liberty. In my opinion, that's not a platform.
Right.
That's a statement of non-reality. Sorry to be so critical out there, you GOP establishment diehards, but that's just the way it is. So that's the question. Why? Why not sign on to the RNC? What is there in there that you don't like? Maybe we ought to ask the head of the New Jersey GOP State Committee. Well, I'm not sure who that is now, frankly. But, okay, that's that.
What else we got?
We have a lot of things, but let's look at let's look at the Senate race.
Okay.
That'll be coming up in November. Jeff Bell actually was back in the late 70s, won the primary, Republican primary, as a Senate candidate. Well, Jeff is back. He is what you might consider a Reagan Republican.
Right.
He is a conservative, from what we can tell. And he worked in the Reagan administration on reforming the tax, worked on the Tax Reform Act of 1986. He's a Columbia University graduate, and he's a veteran. And I mention this because a lot of people don't know him yet, because, again, the word out is that the Republican National Committee and Republicans in New Jersey are not funding, funding a conservative.
Exactly.
You wonder, when will they ever win another election? You know, a Senate election, if you don't have any money out there. Now, there is a report out there that and by the way, let me just say this too. Jeff Bell wrote 2 books. The Case for Polarizing Politics, Why America Needs Social Conservatives. He wrote that in 2012. And Republican and Populism and Elitism, The Politics in the Age of Equality, which was written in 1992. So he's an author. He needs to get more of his information out there. And he has a very small budget. He's not getting the big Republican PACs to support him. And that's a problem.
Well, you know what? We met him. And you know what really got me when he was speaking? Guy is 73 years old. He said, I don't need this job. I'm old, I can retire, but I'm running for this country, for our children, and for our grandchildren. That's what we need. We need somebody like that. Not a career politicians like these other guys that we have up there.
And I remember, because some people raise the issue of age,
right.
I remember when Ronald Reagan was running for his second term, and the issue, he was running against Mondale.
Right.
And Reagan, he got right out in front of it and said, I will not hold, age should not be a question, something like this. Age should not be an issue in this campaign, because I will not hold the youth and inexperience of my opponent against him.
Yeah.
And the place cracked up, and Mondale had to laugh.
Yeah.
And I think that's something. We need, when you look at who we have today in national office, untried, inexperienced, and I would say immature people. Somebody who has a background, somebody who's mature, somebody who's thoughtful.
What I see in the last 7 years since Obama won the election, the young crowd, they're looking for somebody young. If you're over 40, forget about it. They're all looking for somebody young. That was the case even with Obama was young, and so on and so on. So that's what I mean. I'm concerned now with the next presidential election. They have to choose somebody younger, under 50. You can.
You know what? We'll see.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the Republicans to lose an election.
Yeah.
You know, again, people are going to think I'm being negative on the Republicans, but actually, this is what you might call a goose to get your act together. It was interesting that in Politicker NJ, online political commentary page, they talk about the winners and losers each week.
Right.
And the winner they have this week is Jeff Bell.
Oh, great.
Right? Interesting. Jeff Bell, who is behind Cory Booker, his opponent, by 10 points, 37%.
But that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Cory Booker was running against Lanigan, like, what do we have, 2 months left? He was way behind, and he came up.
Yeah.
It was like 18 points, 16, he came up to like 10 points in their election.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 10 points right now is not bad. I think
here's the interesting thing.
Chance.
Booker is under 50% approval.
Yes.
So when you're under 50%, 50% is considered safe for an incumbent.
Right.
Remember, Booker has not had a full term. He replaced Lautenberg, Senator Lautenberg. Lautenberg passed away, and whoops, slide in Cory Booker.
You know what he does in Senate? I just read about it. All he does take selfies.
Selfies.
They get selfies of him and everybody else. He makes a nice library. That's all. That's all he does over there.
He will have a lot of support. He'll probably have a lot of PAC money coming in. Yeah. And this week I'm reading under this winners column that Bill Palatucci, who is a Chrissy confidant, has vowed to do fundraising help for Jeff Bell. So we'll see whether that actually happens or not. I mean, you know, words are nice, but let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay. Another article, Herb Jackson writes an article. Herb Jackson is pretty well known in Jersey as a political commentator out of Trenton. And again, he says the same thing, that Bell is behind by 10 points, but only 10 points, even though a lot of people still don't know him.
Yes, yeah, right? Exactly.
So you have to think that perhaps, and by the way, Cory Booker, who is the former mayor of Newark,
yeah.
By all the reports that we see, he's not loved in Newark.
No, it's not.
Not loved in Newark at all. I don't think he did much for crime. You know, these are reports, this is not my opinion, these are reports that are political reports that are coming out. Anyway, so there you go with what's happening in New Jersey. Also, sticking with Jersey talk, did you know that in New Jersey ranks 4th in the percentage of population that is undocumented, that's illegal immigration.
Yeah,
Ranked 4th.
Yeah, I won't be surprised.
Right? And here are the states that rank ahead of them: Nevada, California, Texas, and Arizona, and Arizona is last actually. Yeah. New Jersey ranks ahead of Arizona in illegal percentage of population. It's illegal.
Who was first?
First is Nevada at 7.2%.
Wow.
Yeah. And Arizona 6.0%. Right above Arizona 6.2%.
Texas was third?
Texas was third, 6.7%. So here's something from the American Citizens Lobbyist Group, and they have some things that state legislators can do, because here's the issue that always comes out. State can't do anything because it's federal policy, and they're in control. We can't do anything that violates federal law. However, let me just read something here. Title 8. Offenses, federal immigration law. Subsection 1324, blah, 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 makes it an offense for any person who, knowingly or in a reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of the law, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection, or attempts to conceal, harbor, or shield from detection such alien in any places, including any building or any means of transportation. This makes it an offense. So, the American Citizens Lobbyist Group comes up with some suggestions, what state legislators can do, but they're empowered to actually do. Number 1, deny state benefits to illegal immigrants.
Good.
Enforce laws against employers who hire illegal aliens.
That's great.
Encourage the use of E-Verify, that's the verification of employment program, to use when hiring employees. So employers would have to use this particular program to verify that an employee that they're thinking of hiring is actually here illegally. A certificate of formation for all businesses filed with the Secretary of State. So if you want to develop a business, you should also, with the filings that you have to do, have an affidavit stating that the company will not hire unauthorized aliens. Okay. And insert in the chapter in the labor court a penalty if a person does, if a company does hire an illegal alien, they have to pay they have to pay a penalty for the entire year.
Right now it's 5,000 per person.
Is it 5,000
Yeah.
per person?
Yeah. But they hardly enforce it. It's on the
Well-
books. Yeah, they're not enforcing it.
Yeah. So that's something that, number one, state legislatures are apparently, according to American Citizens Lobbyist Group, are empowered to do. They have the authority to do it, and some things that state legislatures can actually do. Madam Producer, how much time we have left here?
You have 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes?
Keep rolling.
Okay. Well, let's get back to, well, we've been talking about the GOP and been banging on the GOP. Why not bang on them some more? This time the national GOP. Some of you might know that in Mississippi there was a runoff in a primary. There's a primary runoff in which you had an establishment candidate, Republican, name of Thad Cochran, versus a conservative candidate named McDaniels. I forget his first name now.
Jack, I think it's Jack.
Yeah, it could be. I forget his first name. So there was a runoff. And in this runoff, because neither of them got over 50% the first time around, so they had to have a runoff on this. So here's what the GOP establishment did. The key actor in here, according to the reports that we have, is Henry Barber, who is a Republican National Committee chairman, committeeman, not a chairman. And what he did was he had a PAC, or contributed to a PAC, or rounded up money for a PAC, that actually went out there and race baited the opponent to Thad Cochran.
Unbelievable.
Right? This is the GOP using left race baiting tactics, playing the race card against their own base, their conservative base.
Yeah. Only in America.
Only in America. Only in the GOP establishment in America. Incredible.
Yeah.
So what happened? In Mississippi, a Democrat can vote in a Republican primary,
Right.
if in fact they intend, they cannot vote in the Democratic
general
election,
Right.
right? So what happened? And I think it was funny. Somebody said, well, it looks like the GOP is finally able to mobilize black voters. And how did they do that? They went to Democratic black voters. Most black voters are Democrat in Mississippi. They went to that group of voters, and they attacked McDaniel as a racist, who would stop blacks from voting if he had the chance.
Right, and bring back to the slavery issues and all kind of stuff. Yeah.
Typical race baiting, a disgraceful attack. And what happened? Before the election, before this race baiting took place, McDaniels was up by 6 points. It looks like what happened was this race baiting took effect so that the turnout among, for the primary runoff, for this runoff, in the black quarters was up something like 80%.
Wow.
So congratulations, GOP establishment.
Yeah.
You managed to mobilize black voters. Now, here's the further disgrace.
Yeah.
McDaniels looked at the voting records. They found out that there were people who looked like they may have violated by having voted in a Democrat primary and then voted in a Republican primary also. So he took it to the RNC and said, we want to censure Henry Barber. By the way, Henry Barber is a nephew of Haley Barber, former governor of Mississippi and a powerful GOP presence. So we want to censure. This race baiting is ridiculous, it's horrible, it's disgraceful. And what did the RNC do? They would not even let it come up for a vote. Congratulations, GOP. Congratulations, RNC. Let's see how many more conservatives you can keep home in the upcoming election.
Right.
Now, my producer's telling me we probably have about 4 minutes left, so let me just give you a couple of quickies here. Have you heard of this, the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act?
No, I haven't.
That's Michelle Obama's nanny menu.
Oh, man.
The Michelle Obama's nanny menu. Here it is. You must eat the following. They rammed it through Congress. They told kids, you will do this. Now, something, you know what? Parents have a lot of experience in this. They know when you tell kids you make them try to force them to eat certain things, they don't do it.
They won't do it. Exactly.
So here we have what I would call the first child big government resistance movement.
There you go.
Kids are throwing their food from the nanny menu in the garbage.
Exactly.
They won't eat it.
Yep.
And so this is a good example of when you try to force the people respond and react. And that's what happened in this case and what is happening. Now, the only reason that there are schools staying in the program is they get billions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars spent. Subsidies for the program. So if you are a wealthier school district, you can get out, you'll drop the program, you'll charge kids a little bit more for their lunches. That can work. Poor districts, you're stuck.
You got no chance.
You got no chance. It's like the school system. You get into a bad school system, and you can't get out. If you're poor and you're minority, you can't get out of that school system into a better school. That's what we have. So pre-federal lunch money equals lunch in the garbage.
Exactly.
Last thing, how much time we got, Madam Producer? We getting close?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Cash for clunkers.
Oh.
Folks, remember cash for clunkers? This is going to really propel the auto industry, going to really help them. Going to really go great, right? You can turn in your old car and buy a small car. So here's what happened. A couple of professors at Texas A&M University, economics professors, they did a study called Cash for Clunkers, and they say it ultimately caused the auto industry revenue to shrink by about $3 billion in less than a year. And how did that happen? Because people started to buy vehicles that were less expensive because they could turn in their old car, get a more fuel efficient, a green car for $3,000 to $4,000, $4,000 to $6,000 less than they would otherwise have paid. The result: $3 billion increase in sales initially. That all faded away. So again, here's what you have. When you try to ram something, another cash for clunkers, ram through, it didn't work. Another big government program.
That's the way it is.
Folks, I want to thank you for being with us today. And this is Lunch Pail and the Professor, Liberty Action Network. Please tune into Liberty Action Network. Tune into our program again. Check with Liberty Action Network. You'll see a great bunch of programs on there. And we'd like to thank our producer, Madam Producer. Thank you for all the work that you do. And I guess that's it. I guess we're over and out. We got outgoing music?
Not really.
Not really. I'm sorry, folks. We're working on getting our exit music up and going. So thanks very much. God bless.
God bless America.
God bless America. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Over and out.